Here's the continuation of my report. Step 4. Construct relevant test items. The instruction, objectives, and criterion measure are closely related with each other. The test measure the learning outcomes stated in the objective. The four main steps are standardized test construction. These steps and procedure help us to produce a valid, reliable, and objective standardized. The four main steps are 1. Planning the test, 2. Preparing the test, 3. Try out the test, 4. Evaluating the test. Step number 1. Planning the test. Planning of the test is the first important step in the test construction. So step 2. Preparing the test. After the planning, preparation is the next important step in the test construction. In this step, the test items are constructed in accordance with a table of specification. Each type of test item needs special care for instruction. So in the planning the test, the main goal of evaluation process is to collect valid, reliable, and useful data about the student. Therefore, going to prepare any test, we must keep in mind that to preparing the test, preparation of test is the most important task in the preparation steps. Therefore, must be taken in preparing a test item. The following principles help in preparing relevant test items. Test items must be appropriate for the learning outcome to be measured. The test items should be so designed that it will measure the performance described in the specific learning outcomes, so that the test item must be in accordance with the performance described in the specific learning outcome. Test items should be measure all types of instructional objectives and the whole content area. The items in the test should be so prepared that it will cover all the instructional objectives, knowledge, understanding, thinking skills, and match the specific learning outcomes and subject matter content being measured. When the items are constructed on the basis of table of specifications, the items become relevant. Okay, 3. The test item should be free from ambiguity. The item should be clear. Inappropriate vocabulary and awkward sentence structures should be avoided. The item should be so worded that all pupils understand the task. For example, poor item, where did Gandhi born? Better, in which city did Gandhi born? The test items should be of appropriate difficulty level. The test item should be proper difficulty level so that it can discriminate properly. The test item must be free from technical errors and irrelevant clues. Sometimes there are some unintentional clues in the statement of the item which help the pupil to answer correctly. For example, grammatical inconsistencies, verbal association, extreme words, ever, seldom, always, and mechanical features. Correct statement is longer than the incorrect. Okay, in the test items should be of appropriate difficulty level. If the item is meant for a criterion reference test, its difficulty level should be as per the difficulty level indicated by the statement of specific learning outcome. Therefore, if the learning task is easy, the test items must be easy. And if the learning task is difficult, the test item must be difficult. The test item must be free from technical errors and irrelevant clues. For example, grammatical inconsistencies, verbal association, extreme words, ever, seldom. Test items should be uh, free from racial, ethnic, and sexual biasness. So, class items should be universal in the nature. Yes, care must be taken to make a culture fair item. It must be. If you are going to make an item which is related to, for examples, cultural culture. So it should be must be fair. So you need to make a culture pay item. So while portraying a role, all the facilities of the society should be given equal importance. So the term used in the test item should have an universal meaning to all members of the group. So I want to show you my own examples. So that is my own examples of construct relevant test items. Try out of the test. Once the test is prepared now, it is time to be confirming the validity, reliability, and usability of the test. Try out help us to identify defective and ambiguous items. So to determine the difficulty level of the test and to determine the discriminating power of the items. Tryout involves two important functions: A. Administration of the test, B. Scoring the test. Administration means administering the prepared test on a sample of pupils. So, the effectiveness of the final form test depends upon a fair administration. Grandland and Lin have stated the guiding principle in administering any classroom test is that all pupils must be given fair chance to demonstrate their achievement of learning outcomes being measured. Step 4. Evaluating the test. Evaluating the test is most important step in the test construction process. Evaluation is necessary to determine the quality of the test and the quality of the responses. Quality of the test implies that how good and dependable the test is. Validity and reliability. Quality of the responses means which items are misfit in the test. It also enables us to evaluate the usability of the test in general classroom situation. Okay, the test and evaluation, which is the process by which a system or components are compared against requirements and specifications through testing. The results are evaluated to assess progress of design. To evaluate is defined as to judge the value or worth of someone or something. An example of evaluate is when a teacher reviews a paper in order to give it a grade, to draw conclusions from examining, to assess.